Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review. This review is for Baddies East Season 4, Episode 3. So if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. A lot went down in this episode, so let's just get right into this review. So at the very beginning of this episode, it was time for the ladies to travel to the first house that they were going to be staying at in DC, and Natalie was really nervous to put them all together on one bus to go there because she just knew that there was going to be a lot of drama and that they probably weren't going to make it to the house in time, and so she got two separate buses and she put the ladies in two separate groups. Natalie, Scotty, Rolly, and T were on a bus together, and then there was Tesehki, Ahna, Camila, Saya, Sky, Woah Vicky, and Smiley who were on another bus together, and I don't know where Chrisean and Mariah Lynn were. Now, Natalie's group ended up arriving to the house first, and listen, the ladies were not impressed by this house, not by the outside or the inside. They just said that it looked really old-fashioned, and they also said that it didn't just look old, but it smelled really old on the inside, and everybody got to pick their rooms, and their rooms weren't that bad, but T really was not feeling this house, and she questioned why, with the budget that they have for the show, that they weren't able to get something better, and honestly, I agree with her with that, because they kind of get houses that are kind of crappy every single season for Baddies, and I feel like they're on the fourth season of the show, so I feel like they can do a lot better than they've been doing. But in order for T to feel comfortable in the room that she picked, she had to change the sheets, the pillowcases, and the blanket, which is probably something I would have done too in order to feel comfortable. But I know if this group of ladies are complaining about the way that this house looks, the rest of the ladies are going to complain about it too. The bus that the other girls was on ended up stopping in the middle of the road because Chrisean was standing there and she looked really visibly upset. So Tesehki ended up getting off the bus because that's who Chrisean wanted to talk to. And when Tesehki asked Chrisean what she had an issue with, she said that she had a problem with Tesehki not holding up her end of the bargain because apparently the two of them ended up making an agreement that whoever Chrisean has an issue with, Tesehki was going to be the person who checked them. And she had an issue with the fact that Tesehki was sitting on the bus with two of the girls that she has an issue with. The two girls who Chrisean has an issue with is Ahna Mac and Woah Vicky because Woah Vicky was liking negative things that Blueface was posting about her on social media, and apparently Ahna Mac called Chrisean slow in a comment on social media, and that's what Chrisean is really upset about. So Tesehki ended up taking Chrisean to the bus so that she can get an apology from these girls. The thing about it is that Chrisean did not want an apology. She wanted Tesehki to fight Ahna Mac and Woah Vicky. She did not want to talk things out. She just wanted to fight, and she was really pissed off at her sister because she felt like her sister wasn't doing what she wanted her to do. But Tesehki said that she was not going to fight Ahna or Woah Vicky because they were too small for her to fight. She's way bigger than them. She knows that she can beat them. They're too small and they're really timid. And she also said that they did apologize to Chrisean and they weren't getting out of hand. Like, they weren't yelling and screaming. They weren't hopping up out of their seats. And so she didn't feel like it was necessary for her to fight them. And they did end up giving Chrisean an apology. You could tell that Chrisean was getting more and more upset at Tesehki because she wasn't doing what she wanted her to do. And Chrisean seemed to be more upset with Woah Vicky than she was at Ahna because Ahna actually admitted to calling Chrisean slow on social media. And she basically apologized to Chrisean and she said that she didn't want to fight her because she was pregnant. But she seemed to be really upset with Woah Vicky because Woah Vicky wasn't taking accountability for liking negative things that Blueface was saying about her on social media. She was basically blaming the blog and saying that she accidentally hit like and that the blogs picked it up and made it bigger than what it needed to be, and that's probably true. They probably did blow it up to make it bigger than what it needed to be, but just say you liked it and you didn't mean to and that was it. But I do honestly think that Chrisean worries too much about stuff that she should not be worried about. If you're sitting there pregnant about to pop at any second, you should not be worrying about these girls who are on social media making negative comments about you or liking negative comments about you. If you want to fight every single person that says something negative about you, you're never going to stop fighting. And so I honestly feel like Chrisean was in the wrong in this situation. Because she's pregnant, she shouldn't be on the bus trying to fight anyway. And then on top of that, her sister's telling her she's not a bully and she's not about to fight these girls who clearly don't want to fight her. So, Chrisean needs to just accept the fact that Tesehki's not going to fight them. Now, Chrisean is really upset and she ends up throwing something at Vicky. Now, this is why I don't feel like Woah Vicky should be on the show, because something got thrown at her and she started crying. She was sitting on that bus tearing up. She looked terrified. And I'm not saying that she can't not be a fighter, because you don't have to be a fighter. But to sit there and cry because something got thrown at you, to me, makes me wonder why she even agreed to be on the show. But Tesehki and Chrisean ended up having to go in a separate car to the house because it was just getting too out of control. The other group of girls ended up arriving shortly after Natalie's group did, and they weren't pleased by this house either. They didn't like the way that it looked or smelled. They basically had the same complaints as the first group of girls did. Now, Natalie, Rolly, Scotty, and T were all in a room together having a conversation, and that's when Woah Vicky ended up walking in looking like a dog with its tail between its legs, because she was really scared after that interaction that she had with Chrisean on the bus. Natalie ends up asking Woah Vicky what's wrong, because you could tell that she's really scared. Like, you could tell that she was crying, and she ends up telling Natalie that she got into it with somebody on the bus and she got something thrown at her, but she was tiptoeing around who actually did it. Natalie actually had to question Woah Vicky a couple of times on who's the person who threw something at her, and that scared her half to death. That's why she looks like the way that she looks when she came into the room. And then she ended up mumbling that it was Chrisean. She was really scared to say Chrisean's name at this point, because she probably feels like anything she says pertaining to Chrisean is probably going to get her potentially beat up, and that's probably why she didn't want to say her name. But the way that Woah Vicky was talking and the way that she was hesitant and struggling to say who did it to her really pissed off Rolly. Rolly ended up asking Woah Vicky what exactly she did to piss off Chrisean, and she stated that what she did was she accidentally liked a post that was negative about Chrisean, and before she can unlike it, the blogs already picked it up. But Rolly wasn't really feeling what Woah Vicky had to say, because she honestly feels like Woah Vicky should not be on the show if she's scared to be confronted on all the negative and messy stuff she does on social media, because Woah Vicky is known to be really messy online and do a lot of offensive things over the years, and she can't expect for people to just think that because now she's saying she's changed and she's on this spiritual journey and trying to get in tune with her religion, that now all of a sudden people are going to forget all the negative things that she's done. But Rolly did say that she does feel like Chrisean shouldn't be hitting people while she's pregnant, because she knows that can't nobody hit her back to defend themselves. But she also did say that Woah Vicky is extremely messy on social media, and that Woah Vicky has said some negative things that offended her on social media as well. All the ladies end up gathering up together in one room, and they're drinking, preparing themselves to go out to their first club appearance. And Mariah Lynn, Chrisean, and Tesehki are nowhere to be found. But there was a little bit of tension between Ahna, Mac, and Scotty, obviously because they fought in the previous episode. And Scotty was basically saying that she's going to fight Ahna every single day that she can. And so it was weird to me that they weren't fighting, but they were also able to be in the same room at the same time without any issues with each other. And honestly, I do think that that's mature, because at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to fight every single episode, and they do have to go get money at the club appearances. So I do think that it was mature of them to be able to be in the same room and not get into another fight. Now, despite the fact that Ahna was able to be in the same room with Scotty in this episode and no issues took place, she did tell Natalie that she found out that DJ Sky is going to be a part of this season, and that if she sees her at the club, she's going to confront her. But Natalie tried really hard to talk Ahna out of confronting DJ Sky. She told her that DJ Sky is just the DJ, so there's no point in getting into it with her. And I honestly don't understand why Natalie brought DJ Sky back for this season. I don't know if she's going to bring something to this season, but she was kind of boring in the previous one that she was in, so I don't understand why she brought her back for this one, but I'm interested to see how she does this season. Rolly ended up having a conversation with Camila and Scotty separate from the rest of the girls, and she basically tells them that she has a problem with Woah Vicky because she came on the show pretending like she doesn't have any issues with people, but has been really messy on social media. She's really bold and big when she's online doing the stuff that she does, but then when she's confronted, she wants to sit there and act like she's timid and scared and that she doesn't have any issues with anybody. And Scotty was basically trying to say that Rolly should let it go and just leave Woah Vicky alone. And, this really pissed off Rolly, because she feels like people are babying, Woah Vicky, and they haven't done that to anybody else. They've been on this show together for 4 seasons, and not one time did they baby one of the girls. But now all of a sudden, Woah Vicky's there, and everybody wants to protect her. Now, I can completely understand where Rolly's coming from with not wanting Woah Vicky to be babied, because at the end of the day, she's a grown woman and she knew what this show was about before she decided to sign up to be a part of the show. And for that reason, I don't think that she should get special treatment at all. But at the end of the day, I can also understand where Scotty's coming from with telling Rolly that she needs to kind of leave Woah Vicky alone a little bit unless Woah Vicky does something directly to her. Because at the end of the day, Woah Vicky is obviously scared, and so it's going to look like she's bullying the girl, and you don't want to be called a bully. So if the girl's not doing anything to you, I think you should kind of leave her alone. But I do understand where Rolly's coming from completely, because I don't think that Woah Vicky should get any type of special treatment. Natalie ends up having a one-on-one conversation with Smiley in this episode, and she starts questioning Smiley about how she was able to get access to her autograph in order to get it tattooed on her body. And Smiley claims that she saw it in a book, but Natalie calls Smiley a liar because she doesn't believe that she was able to get her signature from a book, because Natalie says that she writes her name a specific way that nobody else does. Now, Smiley claims that the tattoo was just a joke and that she would never really get somebody's name and face tattooed on her, but that she was really trying to get noticed because she wanted to be on the show to better her and her son's life. And then she gets emotional during the conversation, and I do have some sympathy for her, but my thing is, I don't understand why she thinks that Natalie's having a genuine conversation with her, because Natalie is not being genuine during this conversation. Natalie was really trying to paint Smiley out to be a stalker and a super fan, because she was bringing up the fact that Smiley showed up at all the events that the baddies were supposed to be at. She showed up wearing the same colors, and she showed up at all the events, and she didn't understand how Smiley was finding out any of this information. And so Natalie is basically trying to make Smiley look like she's crazy on this show. I don't really think Smiley's crazy. I think she just wanted to really be a part of the show, and she did whatever she could to make it on the show. But I don't think that that should be a goal for her, because who knows if she's going to get brought back for another season. And I wasn't really feeling her in the previous episode, but we'll see if I end up liking her later on this season. At the very end of this episode, Tesehki and Chrisean finally end up arriving to the house, and they go into the room where Natalie's at, and Tesehki is immediately held back by security because she's trying to get to Natalie to fight her. Natalie starts yelling at Tesehki, telling her that she doesn't understand why she has an issue with her, because she didn't do anything to her but try to defend Chrisean when she was trying to fight her at the auditions. But that's why Tesehki says that she has a problem with Natalie, because she feels like Natalie came at her very disrespectful at the auditions, and that she should have minded her business when it came to issues between her and her sister. Chrisean ends up telling Natalie that she wasn't even being genuine when she tried to defend her against Tesehki at the auditions, and that Natalie was just trying to have a moment. She didn't really care about if Chrisean was okay or not. And I actually agree with Chrisean on that. I don't feel like Natalie was being genuine. I feel like she was just trying to make the auditions more interesting so people would watch it, and that's the reason why she started going off on Tesehki the way that she did. I don't think that she really cared if Tesehki tried to fight Chrisean while she was pregnant or not. I truly don't think Natalie cared. Chrisean starts telling Natalie that she knows that Natalie doesn't really like her because she recently unfollowed her on Instagram, and Natalie says that she doesn't understand why Chrisean cares if she unfollows her, because it's just social media, and that if Chrisean was that upset about it, she could have just unfollowed her back. And that I do agree with Natalie about, because I feel like Chrisean takes social media too seriously. She lets it control her emotions all the time, and maybe she needs a social media break, because she was just trying to fight two other girls this season so far over some posts that they liked on social media, and I just feel like she shouldn't care that much about it. Chrisean and Tesehki start throwing a bunch of stuff at Natalie. Natalie's dodging it, security's holding them back, and it's just a hot mess. And honestly, I think that it's very entertaining, this drama between Tesehki and Natalie. But at the end of the day, I do think that it's stupid that Tesehki is trying to fight Natalie, because at the end of the day, it is Natalie's show. And if she wants to be let back on the show, she might not want to try to fight the person whose show it is. So I just think that it's weird that she's trying so hard to fight Natalie so badly. Chrisean and Tesehki were so hyped up during this episode that they had to get removed from that house and put into a different house. And so I just think that's annoying that they put people in two separate houses. I just think that it makes it not interesting that they're all in different houses. That's just dumb to me. Bad Girls Club was so interesting and entertaining because they were all in the same house together. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies East. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.